I went out for a hike on the Jack Fork Trail here in Arkansas. I was by myself today, as my girlfriend and her sister did not want to join. It's beautiful weather out today, though a little humid. There was almost nobody on the trail with me, so I thought it was going to be a very pleasant hike. Well, that changed about a third of the way in. Let me tell you what happened. I'm making my way around a blind corner that goes up to a spot that has large rocks that you can sit on. Just before I get to the rocks, I heard the sound of tree branches rustling. There's wildlife out here, and I did bring a small .22 takedown rifle with me on my backpack, so I don't feel concerned about it. I get to the rock and take off my backpack and sit there watching the scenery and drinking some water. Without any warning, a stupid squirrel threw an acorn at the back of my head. Or so I thought it was a squirrel. I look around and don't see anything. I drink more water, assemble my .22, put my backpack back on and continue on the trail. As I get about 400 yards farther, I come around another bend and find a tree bent over the trail. And I stop in my tracks. Now, this was not a broken tree. There was no storm in the last week. And it wasn't a dead tree either. The wood was still fresh and green. Someone, or something, had pushed this down. I'm not going to say knocked down, because there were strands of the tree still connected to the stump. It looked like it was pushed over with thought and purpose. That's when I put two and two together. I heard something earlier in the woods, I got hit with an acorn, and now a small tree is bent over the path I'm on. Something doesn't want me here. My suspicions were quickly confirmed when I could hear loud wood knocking noises coming from my left. I turned around to double back on the way I came in. That was my first mistake. As I was jogging to get out of there, I could hear heavy footsteps pounding the ground behind me. I could also hear them to my right. I thought it was an echo until a large rock flew past the front of me, barely missing me. The footsteps behind me stopped, and so did the footsteps beside me. I turned around slowly, and much to my horror and disbelief, there was standing about 20 yards away from me a full-grown male Bigfoot. He was at least 8 feet tall. This was a massive, hairy creature, and his fearsome appearance was matched by his stench. I pulled off the .22 and cocked it. That was my second mistake. The moment I cocked the gun, the female Bigfoot charged me from the side. I couldn't even react, she was so fast. She hit me like a linebacker needing to block a pass. She knocked the wind right out of me, but I managed to keep hold of the gun. I flew and then rolled a solid 5 to 6 yards. When I rolled over and looked at what was happening, they both were beating on their chests, barking and walking towards me. I drew down on the female because she was the closest. As I did, she began to charge again. Because she was clearly the most aggressive, I took a shot. I knew there was no running away. I got her in the shoulder and she stopped about 10 feet from me and just roared at me and ran backwards toward the male. They both ran off into the woods and just disappeared. The woods were quiet again. Nobody believed me about my encounter. My phone was broken in the tussle, so I couldn't take any photos of the aftermath or footprints. I couldn't find any blood drops either, because the undergrowth was thick. I know what happened to me, and I will never forget it. I carry a more powerful weapon now when I go in the woods. I have no idea why I was stalked and attacked by Bigfoot. Maybe the female had a young one, or they took me getting my gun as a threat, and they reacted. I'm just glad it was the smaller female that hit me and not the big boy male. I may not be alive to tell my story. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. My name is Matt. I hope you enjoyed my story. Your generosity and support is much appreciated, so please hit that subscribe button and like my video and share to your social media. I'll catch everyone in the next video.